But now it's time, drum roll please, to reveal our initial expanded college football playoff brackets. I will start with mine. Brett took a shot at mine. He said I have chalk everywhere. I have Iowa State, Texas A&M, and Clemson in there. Come on, I mean, I took some chances. It's not an easy exercise here. And I have Ohio State on the backs of their defense getting revenge over Georgia in a very chalky national title. It's college football. It's probably going to be a chalky national title. So I'm sorry, Brett, that now I'm curious to dig into yours after you took that shot. But Colin,
dig away.
It's time to reveal your bracket. I took a peek at it right before the show, and I was disappointed to see you had Ohio State in there. After your hot take that Ohio State might not make it, go ahead and talk us through your bracket and any playoff futures you like in addition to Penn State.
Well, we might as well start at the bottom. The 11 seed I have is Ohio State. I am not confident in this team whatsoever. There are scheduling issues. I think they're going to bite them with going to Oregon. I'm not really sold on what they have on offense, about what they're going to do with explosive plays. A lot of stuff there. You can go visit the Big Ten preview and listen to Stuckey and I podcast about it, why I do not like Ohio State whatsoever. I think the odds are way too inflated for them to make the playoff, and I was nice to slip them in at 11. I think App State is the team that we got to look at from the Sun Belt here. I do not believe in Boise State. If you want to flip on the Mountain West podcast, I kind of rained on the Boise State parade. I did not like Malachi Nelson months ago. I still don't like him today, and he's not even the starter. So there's some issues there. And then you go to Liberty, strength of schedule, 134th in the nation, dead last. They're not going to make the playoff after they got embarrassed in the Fiesta Bowl last year. So App State for me is the one that got in as the 12 seed. I think some surprises from the top four. I do like Iowa State. I predict Iowa State and UCF to be in the Big 12 championship. I just like UCF a little bit better with KJ Jefferson running Gus Malzahn's offense. Big believer in Alabama. I think them and Georgia will be there in the SEC championship. Clemson, I agree with you, Stuck. Our ACC pod, we didn't even, check notes or anything. We both agree that Clemson is going to win the ACC. And then you kind of populate in teams that have great schedules, should get 10 wins. That's Ole Miss, that's Notre Dame, that's Penn State. And oh yeah, Utah's out there too. If any team has proven they can do anything with anybody on the roster, it's Utah. So that is going to wrap it up for my 12. But I mean, as far as the group of 5 goes, I just could not get on Boise. I just could not get on Liberty. So that led me to the Sun Belt.
Yeah, for what it's worth, I didn't mention it. I went with Memphis. And by the way, feel free to comment away which ones you like, where we're wrong. I'm sure we're all going to be wrong. Please don't parlay all 12 to make it. But now it's time to reveal Brett's bracket. And of course, it's the annual love for Miami. Miami's in there. Brett, talk us through your bracket.
You know what's funny, Stuck, because I put out my bold projections on Monday, got several thousand responses. Every single person agreed with me. It was unbelievable. The back end of my bracket, I am not all chalk. Virginia Tech is in my playoff. Iowa's in my playoff. LSU is in my playoff. And like Mike's love for Texas State, I've got Texas State advancing from the group of 5. It is chalky once you get to the semis. That's the thing. The 12-team playoff, more teams will obviously be in the playoff. Sorry, guys, we're going to end up with the same teams playing for the national title. I've got rematches of the Big Ten and SEC title games. Oregon, Ohio State, Georgia, Alabama in the semis. Oregon, my Ducks, beat Georgia in the title game. So there you go. There you go, Stuck. How about it?
Iowa in the college football playoff. I got a trivia question for you, Brett. Iowa played Iowa played 3 ranked teams last year. What was the net final score in those games?
Well, they have a different offensive coordinator this year.
Yeah,
so
answer the question.
Was it 13-10, 13-10, 13-10, or was it 112 to 7?
It was 92 to nothing. 92
okay.
to nothing in
close.
3 games for ranked teams. But all right, so Iowa gets in there for Brett. Let's take a look at Calabrese's bracket. I assume Texas State, which you just talked about, is going to be your 12th team or your group of 5 team. So why don't you talk us through your bracket?
Sure. So in terms of going out on a limb, Texas State, you can make an argument for 5 or 6 G5 teams. But beyond that, I'm with you, Stuck, on Iowa State. The returning production, what they had at quarterback, and I really like their running game as well. So I have them picking up one of the at-large bids at number 9. And what's interesting about the format, I think it's going to take one cycle for people to get used to this. K-State and Virginia Tech, technically they're going to be 3 and 4, at least in my projected bracket. They're clearly not the 3rd or 4th best teams in the entire country, but by winning the Big 12 and the ACC, they go ahead and, punch their way into the quarterfinals. After that, it's a very chalky affair for me. And I wrote up in the New York Post last week about why I like Oregon. This has been a build for Oregon to go from a finesse team, in the mid 2000s under Chip Kelly and having great success and putting up big numbers, but often being exposed by either really good defensive lines or really strong offensive lines. I think about Ezekiel Elliott still running yards up on them in that national title game. They finally have the horses on both sides of the ball. 11 blue chip recruits on the D-line alone in the last 2 recruiting cycles. I think that's going to be the difference. And I also think that Dan Lanning learned a critical lesson last year. He kept Bo Nix healthy for the entire season by not running him. He needs to do the same with Dylan Gabriel. If this guy plays every game this year for the Ducks, they're going to be the national champs.
Yeah, definitely got to watch out for any concussion issues. Hopefully, Gabriel can stay healthy throughout the year. I disagree with you on your Missouri pick, by the way. But all 3 of you you were taking jabs at mine. All 3 of you went Oregon, Georgia, national title. I went Ohio State, Georgia, so I can't really say much. Yeah. But
Ohio State's ranked higher.
Those are. I'm sorry. So those are our brackets. Feel free to comment. Let us know on Twitter, as always, what you liked, what yours are. It's a fun exercise to go through, and I'm excited for the first iteration. That'll do it for us. Thank you to Colin, Mike, Brett. Thanks to our producers on the back end. Most importantly, thanks to all of you for joining us. And if you're watching YouTube, again, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the content that we have coming up, including our live shows every week, our podcasts every week. And before we get out of here, one final reminder, BBOC is presented by BetMGM. Use bonus code ACTION when signing up to get up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your first bet does not win, for new users in Arizona, Colorado, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, New Jersey, North Carolina, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Wyoming. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. That'll do it for us. We will be back during the week with our week 1 college football betting previews. Colin and I and the group of 5 guys will have their episodes. We'll be back same time next week, 10:30 a.m. Eastern. Don't forget about the Bad Beat Hotline, because we will have our recap episodes starting after week 1. Thanks for tuning in. Good luck on all of your wagers throughout the season. We'll see you out there. Cheers.